When I was in theater, we used to do the tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, tip of the tongue, and then you just keep going to warm up before you begin.
Lips. Warmed up.
All right, perfect.
Curiosity fosters connection.
Death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside while still alive. Never surrender.
Who said that? And I have your quote today, which is, without music, life would be a mistake. Interesting. I know who said that this time because it was on the quote. But you'll find out later in the show.
And we'll share a few more too.
Welcome back to the bakery, y'all. It's your boy B Willis with my co-host
Priscilla Z. It's nice to see all of you today. I don't know if you noticed, but I brought a new do. It's still me, though, in the heart. And we're happy to have you all here. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, we are Pi Talk. We are pursuing our internal evolution.
And yours.
Oh, man, everybody, it's an all skate. Let's invite everybody we know. It's all about doing this intentionally and watching yourself evolve in the coolest ways possible, connecting with your community, connecting with yourself, and fostering connections everywhere you go all day long so that you can grow in the best ways possible.
Hey, last episode was really fun. Not gonna lie.
Totally.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, show me the best version of all. Right? Make sure you guys are putting in your magic to create those mirrors so that you can see the best versions of yourself. Every time you look in any mirror, make it a magic one. For real.
Absolutely. Your reflection is something that is a relationship that you have with yourself.
Forever.
Absolutely. And it's kind of a cool place to like either do the best self-talk or the worst self-talk. And we know we've all done both of those in our experience. But if we're pursuing internal evolution, why not like actually take that opportunity to make some good talk?
We also have some quotes from some fans we want to honor.
Yeah. Hey. Well, actually, what was really cool on the last episode is that we had some inspiration come through, and it was kind of cool because we always try to challenge you guys to maybe go and apply whatever we're talking about in our episode to your real life. But this person challenged themselves and did a really great job at it. Yeah. So this is, it says Calvina Padilla is the name that's via the YouTube name. But basically they wrote in and they said that number one, that they would love to have one of your guys' shirts. And so with that, there is some pre-orders going on. And if you just head to our Pi Talk Facebook page, you can see where that little zone is. But you can also just DM us or send an email to pitalkpodcast@gmail.com. And we can also figure out a way to get you a shirt. So let us know. But aside from that, this is the really cool and the inspiring thing in Spirit Ions that our friend Calvina did. It says, I'm debating on going to school or to take college classes, but I've been procrastinating about it. 2 days, I just jumped right in and I signed up for classes after I looked at myself in the mirror and I said to myself, I am strong I am beautiful.
You are.
And I can do this. And
You
I
can.
did. She
And
did.
Hey, that's what's up.
She said, thank you guys. You are the best. I love you guys. Your positive affirmations about one's self. And so, way to take your own life into your own hands and to have the conversations that you deserve to have, because you absolutely are beautiful and you're absolutely worth it. So, I'm excited to hear about your journey in school. That'll be really great. The concept of college actually equates to just community growth, because when you step into college, you are stepping into your community of your peers and you're starting to develop new skills so that then you can benefit not only yourself but everybody around you. So way to like bring your own slice of pie to everybody around you and yourself.
Yeah, way to become a new baker.
Woo-hoo!
Right? Making that pie.
Delicious. We also had one other comment that just says from user JN1MZ, and it said, fire, fire, fire. Yes, sir. And yes, ma'am. Thanks, pal. It says, this show is fire. Great work, you two. Cal from Cal.
Oh, shout out to Cal from the Love and Lacey podcast.
Oh, it's Calvin.
It is Calvin.
Thank you, Cal.
Also, we had some interesting dialogue with Don Miguel Ruiz, who is the author of The Four Agreements, which cards we use. And he kind of told us congratulations on our podcast. And, you know, he kind of stamped what we're doing. And we give him all the credit for The Four Agreements, you know, for writing those and for bringing those to the universe, because they're great.
Absolutely.
Right. We'll get into those a little bit later.
Foundation blocks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool to actually have him respond to a message in our Facebook feed. You know, he told us good looking.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So, what do we have next? Keep effing going.
I think so.
Joshua Smith.
And Jordan Davis, thank you both so much. This book is on Amazon to purchase for anybody that's interested, but it's just a set of daily, it's not just a set, it is a really refined set of daily concepts or affirmations, things that you can go out to and you can just hit up to get some ideas and some inspiration, and it gives you a little something to do.
It does.
What do we got going on?
Every day. It's pie. Another pathway.
Yes.
Day 12 is what we're on. And this is a nice one. I like this one. It says, leave yesterday where it's at and focus on crushing today, which is funny. These things always align.
I know.
I took a picture with my 9-year-old today, and I posted on Facebook, and I said, Grand Rising Facebook. Now say it with us. Today is going to be a great day.
Yeah.
That was the post I put up this morning without even knowing Priscilla was going to hit me up and be like, hey, do you want to record right now?
Yeah.
And I was like, duh. Let's go.
I love it. Today's action item is, what is the very next thing you have to do? How can you approach it with renewed energy, innovation, and a positive outlook? I love that because it's like constantly thinking about what's your next goal. So what is on your table right now that you really want to accomplish? Just like our friend did in our comments earlier, it sounded like the goal was to go to college, and then she went and approached it with some renewed energy, innovation, and a positive outlook. And I think that we all could do the same. I myself right now am I'm getting my peer counseling certification and my peer recovery certification, and I am stepping into that in every way that I possibly can. And
did you sign up for the one that I'm trainer in?
The wait list. There's a wait list because everyone's trying to get up on this one. But I hope that I can be in the one that B does eventually.
Me too.
I think it would be
I have
super
anything
fun.
To say about that wait list.
But what's interesting about that concept is it has been an outlook pivot. So my outlook was that I had way too much going on and that there wasn't that much room to balance that within my life. But the truth is that I always make time for anything that I want in my life, and I always have time to do the things I wish to accomplish. And so I've changed that mind frame for myself, and my outlook and perspective has shifted, and I'm going to hit it up. I'm going to make it happen. What is that?
Priscilla got me a water jug, made a glass because our outlook
pivoted.
It pivoted. Somebody showed me some things I can't unsee.
right? And not only that, it's so funny. I was sitting in the car and I was thinking about that water. And next up is I got to get you, and especially because of the Irish, the good old St. Patrick's Day, but Celtic sea salt. So our water, although artesian well water comes from the ground, and so it has tons of minerals that are already naturally in it from the ground, but most of our water that we drink has been cleaned so thoroughly that it is lacking the minerals that our body actually needs in order to absorb the function of the water itself. So sometimes we're dehydrating ourselves with water because it's not even there.
So funny. So I had this group in a parenting class that I was running yesterday, and the conversation came up about the glass. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
Somebody asked me what kind of jug it was, and I was like, a water jug?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is it, But anyway, so we started to Google and we started to research, and it actually, some of the things we found out was that when we drink bottled water, it is actually only 15% able to hydrate us.
Yes.
And that a lot of people believe if they spend more money on the different kinds of bottles of water, they said that bottled water is actually one of the least regulated things in our country. And that actually a filtration system or well water is actually the best way to go. Because bottled water is already dead, and the chemicals in the bottle and the plastic can oftentimes lead to chemicals being put in your water. Then you put those chemicals in your body, and they've actually been tied to cancer in some stages. So yeah, like I said, the veil's been unlifted, and now I can't put it back on. So
their concept is talking to your water too. So like telling your water before you drink it, thank you so much for this beautiful water that's going to nourish my body, giving it affirmations, because as we know, water, when it's crystallized, when it's frozen, you can see that water that's been talked to or listens to really positive music and uplifting music, like classical music, the crystals formate in these beautiful shapes of organized like glory, and then music that's like hectic and angry, or words that are angry, make crystals that kind of look a little icky sticky. So you don't want that. Another way that you can just hydrate yourself or make your water pivot is with a little bit of Celtic sea salt. And so Celtic sea salt, that's really good stuff with like green, it's kind of a green color, which is kind of fun, can be found in bulk at the co-op here in town. And you can get it in bulk. It's just a little scoop of it or whatever. Grab that stuff at your local co-op and just drop a little tiny bit in your water, not to make it taste different even, just enough to remineralize the water so that your body gets the benefits.
Pie Talk disclaimer, we don't claim to be experts on anything. However, you can do your own research. Look up living water, do some research, do your own internal evolution, because every time you learn something new, you're evolving, right? And that's what we're here to do, perpetuate tools and ideas and concepts, just different ways that you can learn to be the best version of yourself, right?
And it's up to you, because you're on your own pursuit of your own internal evolution, because that inside is your inside. For you to do the work. Like, we're just bringing up these ideas for inspiration, but really you should be the one that goes and investigates deeper and deeper. And if you guys find out things about the stuff that we're talking about that we didn't share or that we didn't know, help us evolve too. Share it our way.
Yeah, I love learning. I love evolution.
Oh, it's my favorite.
All right. Next up is Better Than Yesterday challenge cards.
I love daily challenges. What do we got going on?
I just mixed mine up.
Oh,
we haven't mixed them. So you can mix yours or you can grab the first one.
Okay.
The one I grabbed is For a Good Cause.
Okay.
Interesting. Better Than Yesterday, 76, which is 13, which is episode 13, which is 4, Jumping Life Path 4. Yeah, you guys know. Support a cause, charity, or fundraiser that means a lot to you. If you're able to, set up a recurring donation. Donating your resources reminds you how fortunate you really are. You guys watched. While she was talking, I was mixing these things up. This is hilarious. This is the universe. This is what we're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Just Sunday, Pursue It If You Want It, which is a nonprofit that I care a lot about. I'm actually the founder and executive director of. We donated 56 Easter baskets to justice impacted families. So, for the children of those people that unfortunately have someone in their family incarcerated or on their way home, halfway house, work release, and you know, they might not be in a financial situation to go spend some money on some Easter things. So, we were able to take 26 to the federal halfway house, another 15 to the DLC work release, and then another 8 to 10 with people that had signed up and been a part of the Pursue It If You Want It. And there is a GoFundMe. So if you go to Pursue It If You Want It on Facebook or pursueitifyouwantit.org, there will be a link and it will take you to the GoFundMe. The next thing that we're doing is a backpack and school supply drive. So we're going to take from now all the way through the summer collecting these items so that we can distribute before school starts next year backpacks full of school supplies for underprivileged, you know, and kids that are families that have somebody incarcerated, somebody that is fresh out, experiencing reentry, and all the stigmas and barriers and things that come with that. We're trying to remove some of those barriers and help some of those families because the kids that are sometimes, you know, victimized essentially, or they're just they can be collateral damage when parents are doing things that are causing them to be justice impacted, and I'm here to help them.
Absolutely,
we're here to help them. We have a wonderful board.
I was just going to say, shameless shout out to everybody that is a part of Pursue It If You Want It. So I got to go to this event and participate, and it was the first time that I've ever experienced a group gathering that was revolving around Pursue It If You Want It. Every single person there has just a soulful heart and energy about them that shows exactly what their intentions are doing. And something that was brought up in the meeting that they all shared together was that their attempt to change the community is from a grassroots connection. They want to have all of us connect from the ground up to make the change that's happening. And it's not just about going to like big conglomerates and grabbing money and grants and things like that to then go filter into our community. It's about actually making the heartfelt connection together. And that's exactly what we did. It was really fun. It felt, I mean, sounds a little selfish, but it was super gratifying. Like, it felt super good on the inside to do this. And so if any of you guys want to participate in this form of philanthropy and getting involved and giving back, I do highly encourage you to spend some of your time and maybe even some of your money on Pursue It If You Want It. It was cool because, like, a lot of the times, I mean, I support B because I support him and I understand his mindset and his heart and what he ventures into. But this time I got an opportunity to truly see it with my own eyes and to feel the energy with my own experience. And I wholeheartedly support Pursue It If You Want It and every bit of their intentions as they go changing a lot in our community and the way we look at things and the way we perceive others, the way we treat others, and the way we offer our energy and currency towards people that deserve it.
Yeah. We deal in a currency that is not the USD, although the USD does help.
Sure,
we are highly valuable individuals because our currency, our passion, our authenticity, it's obvious. It resonates from us. You can feel it. You can experience it. And being in that room at the board meeting with the volunteers and lining up all these baskets that we built from scratch, each one was, you know, there was love and compassion and positive energy put into each of those baskets. Absolutely. And then to be on the other side of it, delivering them and seeing the heartfelt appreciation for receiving those was just, man.
I was like, I also just got a little blip. But I got to meet B's mom. I got to meet her for real, like not just over the internet. And she is an extraordinary woman. I can tell that she definitely helped in the foundation of the person sitting next to me. And it was so cool to watch her too, because she's actually, it's funny because Lacey B's wife and his mom have the same drive in so many ways. Those people are organized, they're on point, they know how to lead large groups of people and to also be an example and change. And it was cool to be able to witness the people that love B. All right, I'm not going to shuffle mine because I can read what the front says, and I think that the universe is hilarious too. So I'm going to go off of this one. Better than yesterday, fresh cut. Better than yesterday, number 98. Do something different with your hair today. Thank you, universe. You're a crack up. Trying something new with your appearance might be just what you need to boost your confidence.
I swear.
So,
we did not set this up.
No. And
this,
ta-da!
None of it.
This is hilarious. So I pivoted my hair on the day that we worked with Pursuit if we wanted it. But what ended up happening, which is really funny, but it's St. Patrick's Day. And whenever a new holiday comes across our plate, no matter what it is, so like I'm not Irish, like I don't have any Irish roots whatsoever, but it is a holiday that's present in our community and in our world. And I want my kid to know about everything in the world, anything that she wants to explore into. And so this year, like I've never done the leprechaun thing with the leprechaun traps and all that stuff. And it was so fun to hear from other people what they do with their families, their traditions. And then also I love food and cooking. And so I researched.
I've seen all those posts.
Oh, man, I love food so much. I mean, I really do love cultural cooking. I love learning about the culture through food. And so I started doing all these things and planning all this stuff about all this heritage and these culture roots. And I thought about my own roots and how I have been kind of straightening my roots for a long time. And I called it before, when I would straighten my hair, my armor. It was my physical armor. I like struggled with having curly hair. I struggled being different and unique. I thought it was something that I didn't want to do. I wanted straight hair and the hair straightener, just like all the other girls in the 90s. It was the way. How are you going to get a bump it with this big curly do? And so I decided to tap into my vibes and go the curly route. And also my kid has curly hair. So what am I doing? I'm not showing her the example of just being true to self by constantly changing that part of my appearance. So it's been really fun to play with my curly hair. And I do need a fresh cut to try to get these curls to bounce a little bit. So I'll head that direction thanks to this card.
Hey, getting my haircut is like one of the key,
revitalizing.
Yeah, it's key self-care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you fellas out there, but y'all know, like for me, a haircut and a car cleaning and a car wash goes hand in hand.
I love that.
So for me, that's like a man's spa day.
Yeah.
You know, I vacuum my car, wipe it all down, go get the fresh clean cut, and then take it through the car wash. Like, you know, not the max car wash, but like the second one down.
Yeah, of course. Right, we're not trying to get foolery on that.
You know, and I love white cars for some reason. So like
they stay cleaner.
Yeah, coming out of a car wash, you know, the Toyota just glistening, fresh cut. It just makes me feel so much more me.
I love that. I also, right now, because we're talking about fresh cuts, I'll give you guys a little tip, but also a little shout out. There is a woman by the name of Kay. I would wait for Kay when you go there. And she works out of Super Fades out in Lacey, which is right next to the post office. And she used to cut my dad's hair. We're talking like she cut the baby's hair in our family. Those kids are now like 27, 28 years old. So she's been cutting our family's hair for a long time. She works for a lot of the military units that come down. So she does great, like high and tights, keeps stuff really clean. She does all sorts of different design work, and she really works with all different kinds of hair types. But the coolest thing ever is this lady does this stuff on a budget. It's really wild. I think the cuts are like anywhere from $12 to $15 military discount if you are military.
Oh, nice.
And then she even does ladies cuts, and she'll give me a ladies cut for like $20, which I don't know if you've ever checked it into ladies cuts, but they're astronomically high in price. So head out to Kay at Super Fades if you need to get a fresh cut too.
Oh, Nice plug there.
I did, and I don't even I don't owe her nothing. I just really like her. So, and also it's a good deal. Like the old lady in me can't help but share. What do we got next?
We are going to get into the topic of the show. Now, we've been playing with some titles, but essentially the topic of the show is what doesn't break me.
Oof.
Right? And it's funny because I was talking about some past experiences, and they have the stages of change and the stages of recovery, right? And this might also be the title. What I'm about to say is the stages of cages.
Ooh.
Right? And what it reminded me of is when I went to prison. I was 18 years old, and Shelton Prison has this place. Any of you that have been through the system, you know what the R units are, right? So essentially, it's a hub where all prisoners are filtered through before they go to what they call their mother institution. So if you are in jail and you get found guilty or you plead guilty to a felony and your sentence is prison, they send you to Shelton, and this is Washington State. And at Shelton, you get processed. It's sometimes 2 to 4 months you're in this processing unit or facility, and that is where they do your classification, find out if you're going to be a low, if you're going to go to a camp or a medium facility, or Walla Walla, right? And what's really interesting, and it's going to lead into a lot of this, the focus of this topic, right, is that imagine kennels. So these are literal cages, fences that go from the floor to the ceiling. And there's about, if I can remember, it's been a long time since I've been in this particular situation. But the cages were fences, and they're big, big squares. And there's about 4 of them. So if you're walking in and you're looking to your left, you're seeing all these different cages full of grown men in different stages in these cages. And the stages are like fully dressed from the chain bus. And then the next stage, they are not fully dressed, just some underwear and socks maybe. And so what they do is they process you through all these stages to where you're in one stage, in one cage, completely nude, waiting for them to call for next 4 or 5 guys come out of the naked stage. And so they do all their turn around, bend over, cough them. They do their strip searches and then throw you into a cage, butthole naked, with a whole bunch of other dudes. You got dudes holding themselves and dudes swinging their stuff, and we're all in this cage. And then the next stage is you come out and you grab like a pair of underwear and a pair of socks, and then you go to the next cage. And then in that cage, you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. And then you go from that cage to, they give you an orange jumpsuit, and then you can put that on, and then you go to the third cage, and then you're in that cage, you're waiting for your roll with your sheets and your pillowcase and your towel that's more like a pillowcase. And then from there, the last thing they have you do after all of this dehumanizing process,
that's all I can think of right now,
they have you go from there to in front of a camera to take your picture for your prison ID that they then make you wear with a clip right above your heart. And so what doesn't break you makes you. The concept comes from, I was one of maybe one other person, and I did a 10-year stretch that I was smiling like it was my birthday picture and I just got my license. And at first, when they called my name to go stand in front of the thing, and they do the side shot, and then they do the other side, and then they say, okay, look here, this is for your prison ID. And I just threw that thing on, and he was like, what are you doing? And they tried for a few minutes, but mind you, this is a process and they're trying to rush through it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't buck. They tried to force me not to smile. And my idea, even then, as an 18-year-old young man who had just been sentenced to 11 years of his life in this prison, I remember telling myself while I was going through those cages and seeing those dudes come up and just, prison mugs, your mug shots, right? I thought to myself, nah, this is my ID. This is a representation
I'm so proud
of
of
what
you.
they will never take from me. You guys aren't going to break me, right? So I smiled. I had the biggest cheese on this prison ID of anybody. And the funny thing about it is that ID caused more connection and conversations with prison guards and counselors and even inmates. We'd be kicking it or whatever, and they'd be like, man, what the? Bro, look at this. You know, it was a joke. Some guards thought I was crazy because one of the ways that they interact with inmates is if they're going to write you an infraction or whatever, you're getting lippy with them, as they would say. They would snatch your ID off your outer garment, and they would use that to go look up your information and then present the infraction that they write up and then give to you.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a few times where a guard snatched my ID, and I don't know what that guard thought. But then they would come back and be like, hey, we got off on the wrong foot. Look.
Yeah.
Or one time a guard walked by and he's seen it. And he's like, what's your deal? And I'm like, what do you mean, what's my deal? He's like, you look like you had a birthday party on your ID.
Love it.
He's like, I've never seen an inmate smiling that big on their ID. I'm like, well, at the end of the day, like, I know this represents where I was and where I'm going. I'm just a visitor.
Yeah.
I'm passing through. Like, you guys aren't going to turn me into an animal or make me feel just oppressed and in a prison. Even though I'm in prison, I'm not. You're not stealing from me my spirit. And so that's what that represents. And that guard was like, ended up being super cool with me, and he was a dick to everybody. Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. I'm like, so I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am a huge empath. And so when I hear stories, I think about not just B, but I think about every single person that's ever had to do that. And I'm, of course, all in the feels right now and getting a little misty-eyed. And I am now, I've been in control of my emotions lately. And it's quite nice to not be a blubbering idiot everywhere I go. But I have so many feelings for that story that was just shared right now. And I've never heard that. So this is my first time experiencing this with you all. But it just brings to mind that these were situations where B had a choice on if he was going to internally evolve or not, and he was going to learn something. And it's just so interesting that at 18 years old, you chose internal evolution in a moment that was kind of made for you to not evolve. It was meant to keep you in a cage. It was meant to keep you like an animal, to forget that you're a human, to forget that you are a soul. And instead, he rose above. He decided to own his own narrative, that he was actually a positive, funny person. I don't know if you ever experienced time with him one-on-one, but dude is always cracking jokes and being goofy. Like, his faces, he can't stop. He loves it. He lives for being the smiley guy in an environment. And so here, when they tried to make you not the smiley guy, you said, I'm going to be the smiley guy. And then it fostered connection and curiosity with the people that you're surrounded by, which then pivoted his entire experience. Yeah. So just based off of that one singular decision to hold his ground in a moment when he was told he was going to be something that he did not agree with, he chose that he was going to be the positive representation of his own self. And then from there, got countless opportunity after countless opportunity to express that and change moment after moment in your life.
Well, it's funny you said earlier that your straight hair was your armor.
Yeah.
Right? Well, one thing that I learned in my life is that my smile has been my armor.
Right.
And it's because I've always am automatically judged and stigmatized. Oh, here comes another big angry black guy.
Right.
You know, like even when I was, in the CPS case, fighting for my kids, and I was, listed.
Judge the shit out of you.
On paper, you see things like compassionate, caring, adoring. His kids love him. And then they get into open court and they're like, oh, he's aggressive and he has an aggressive posture and he's going to be hostile with us. So we don't want you to place his kids with him because then he might not let us come to his house. And I'm just like,
no.
But
no,
so
thank you.
Like a lot of what I learned to do was, if I make eye contact with somebody in any situation for the first time, like if I'm standing in line at a Walmart, if I'm walking down the hallway and someone looks up and sees me, I just cheese at them. I just melt away whatever it is that they're gonna clutch their purse or do whatever. I just smile at them and I speak, and that has allowed me more connection and allowed people to not sit in their preconceived notion that they're immediately going to come to a conclusion that they should have fear of this person that's coming their direction, right? And so that's kind of been my armor, it's been my smile, and it's also, somebody had said to me, you heard the term like fake it till you make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then someone else, I think it was our parent teacher that we use. I can't think of her name.
Becky Kennedy.
I think it might have been her.
Dr. Becky
and
Kennedy.
She says, "Fake it till you become it."
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so that's kind of what it's been. Like, I would rather be happy and smiling and engaging and approachable.
Yes.
Because it does foster more connection to 100%. Be that way, right? And it allows you to not have the external environments and indoctrinations. And when people are dead set on trying to break you and make you conform into this little thing that they can control and manipulate, and when you go into prison, you become a 6-digit number. You become not even your last name. A lot of times they will address you by the number they gave you. You are like cattle. Mm-hmm. You are being ushered through all these different stages of cages throughout your incarceration and being told what to do, how to do it, when to eat, how to eat, and all these things. And you have to work, and the wages are like literally the only place in America that has slave wages still. You can do an actual chef's job feeding an entire institution over 40 hours a week, and they will give you $55 a month, right? These things that I experience, I did not allow to break me.
Yeah. It's really funny. So we were not going to record this episode today because I had other obligations going on, but then something happened where it pivoted things, and then I just randomly told B, hey, you want to record? He said, yeah, let's go. First thing he said, you got a quote. So I was like, I don't know. We'll go with Buddha if we can't find anything. And then I was like, wait a minute. Last night, I had this really in-depth conversation with my partner about his favorite quotes and this particular person that he brought to the table. We shared one quote at the beginning of this, but I got to tell you, before you find out who the quote is, who's the man that made the quotes at the end, one of the quotes that he's also very famous for, which we did not plan, is, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger."
You guys probably know who it is now.
Maybe just maybe.
Maybe just maybe.
So you think about this for real, like the universe is trying to get this message out clearly to all of us right now, and including us here behind the screen, but also all of you too. And what I believe in, what we were just speaking about, is like, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So now in my life, I've experienced lots of different kinds of hardships, lots of different kinds of trauma, or what I consider to be defeat. And now when I walk about my life, I meet people who feel defeated. I meet people who sit in their humdrum, self-sabotaging, self-hatred all the time. I see these people walking everywhere I go. And a lot of these people, when they meet me, they think that I'm fake. They think that I'm phony, that I'm a bunch of sparkles, sunshine, and rainbows, right? But did you know that I actually am? I actually am that. I am sunshine, sparkles, and rainbows. There's no fake and phony about it. And what doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Well,
I've developed that skill.
Let's talk about a little, if you're willing.
Which portion?
Let's talk about some of the things that didn't break you.
I mean,
let's give them a little of Priscilla's darker
to be really
stages of cages.
There's a couple stages of cages. So number one that sparked all of it was my mom. My mom might have taken her life and burned in a fire. Okay. That's unreal. Having to actually see that happen is unreal. It feels like you are supposed to die that same day. And when I was in those moments, I thought, what's going on here? Something's up. I must be getting stronger from this. I must be learning something. And it didn't kill me. I didn't die that day. but I wanted to. And so I tried to go away in many ways, and I tried to dull down my roar. And eventually, I ended up in a cage too. And I'll tell you this, guys, when I dropped to the Nisqually jail and I ended up on the cement there.
Can we, is this that time?
We can show it.
I'm gonna show her mugshot in the edits.
Ooh, it's cute. I also made a face. And the face that I made was womp womp. It's the something was up. Something was up. And when I got booked into the Nisqually jail, I also went through some dehumanizing things, is what they were attempting to do. But I stood there and I spread my legs and I smiled. And I laughed even a few times. And I thought, what is up here? What is up?
How did I get here?
How did I get here? How is this my story? And then there was a moment when I woke up and a big, beautiful woman stood above my bed. And she said, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm trying to figure that out. She said, what'd you do? And I told her what I did. And she said, that's okay. It'll get better. Don't worry. And I got your back. And she was there to be kind to me. And she said she'd probably take a shower now before everybody else wakes up and does all their stuff. So I went and I took a shower. And when I was there, I was naked in this environment with about 20 other women. Everybody there from just a petty situation to a very horrible one. There's people there that were in for murder. So a mixed bag. And I went and I took that shower, and as the water was running down on me and I was naked in this room having a bunch of people watch me do whatever I'm doing.
Vulnerability like a mofo.
Oh, but you know what I thought? I thought, this isn't that bad. I thought, you know what? I'm not going to traumatize myself more. I'm not going to make this a traumatic experience. I'm not going to sit there sad and in a ball frail thinking that this is what's going to ruin my life, because that wasn't going to ruin my life.
You have that metaphorical smile on the prison ID.
Oh man, it was there. It was there tenfold. And then to be really real with you, I navigated that entire experience differently than anybody I know would have navigated it. I navigated it the way I wanted to. I made friends with the person that was up for murder. Great woman, beautiful, extraordinary individual. And then eventually she came to my bunk, sat outside, made a bed outside of me, and made sure that I was safe and taken care of all day long. People walked in throughout the day, and when they did, they saw me smiling. They saw me bright-eyed. Many of them said, you don't belong here. We'll never see you here again, and we're happy about it. They were excited that I was going to do something different. Lots of them told me, because I said I was a writer, they said, maybe you could make some change for us. Instead of writing that big, cool book I always thought about writing about my story, just about me, they said, maybe you should lobby. Maybe you should write laws.
This is probably time to plug an Easter egg. The Book of 81. I'm going to just leave it at that.
Will come. Essentially, by the end of my experience there, I had about 20 women in celebration. They all were cheering and crying and excited for me because I didn't even have to spend a full 24 hours there. And I was lucky, and I was very extraordinary in my experience, of course, and I honored that the entire time. But what I started to notice is that I was a witness of my experience and that I wasn't a victim of my experience. It was what it was, and I was going to turn it into something really, really good. And so when I was arraigned, I sat in front of the judge and I asked if I could plea for myself and my story. And they told me people don't do that. And I said,
Priscilla did.
Well, I'm gonna. And so I did. I plead for my life and for my experience and for them to see that I wasn't just a number. I wasn't just a court case that was coming in that day. that I was a wonderful woman and that I'm an extraordinary mother. I'm a great partner and I'm a good friend and I know how to show up for myself. And then from there, I did everything that I said I was going to do. And
hold on. Oh, you're still doing everything you said you were going to do.
Keep doing it.
More. Keep doing it. All of that, if some of you don't know, all of that led to Priscilla in my office reaching out through a Facebook or through a friend and an invite. And now we are where we are because of the decisions that she made for her own internal evolution and her own narrative. This is true and real. This is the real Priscilla that you're 100%. Hearing about. We aren't actors. Again, we've said it multiple times. We don't script. We didn't even know we were going to record today.
Didn't know I was going to talk about this.
You see, I hit her with it and asked her permission. Because sometimes
it's public record. We all could explore it if we need to. But the truth is that I'm going to own my own narrative about the experience.
But your internal evolution is not public record.
No, it's not.
They only get to see the outside and what was put on black and white with people whose job is to write a narrative that is never in your favor as the defendant. Right. So you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent in our society. You preaching to the choir, girl?
Yeah, you are 100% guilty, and it doesn't.
I was born guilty.
Yes, you are. You're labeled guilty no matter what occurs, and I can be accountable for everything that happened. I can absolutely own my faults and my wrongs and all of the experience, but that does not define my life, my story, my heart, my soul. It's not going to ever be who I am labeled as forever. And what I started to notice is that if I own my own narrative, which I didn't have all the words, but I was searching for it, I reached out to B, and I didn't have to go to B. I didn't have to do anything. I wasn't court ordered to do anything, but my soul was ordering me to do something. And I went and reached out to B for some connection, for some peer counseling, some family navigation. I knew that I had to find some skill sets out there that were outside of my knowledge, or even I've been to professional counselors. I've been to professionals who've went to school for years and years and years. And those people didn't help me in the same, moments that I had help with B. And what B basically did is he said that he had experienced what he had been through. He had been to prison 5 times, and I make a joke sometimes, but the only reason I trust B is because he has been to prison. Because he does know what the school of the hard knocks is. He does know what it means to transform everything about his life and then some. And I do believe him, and I believe in his story because I watch it. I watch him evolve. He is Pi. He has been pursuing his internal evolution real time, every day, all day, and I keep watching it. It's going to continue to happen. And so he gave me some words, just basically that, the blueprint, this one right here, this is my big one. Although I may have been a victim, I agree today that I am not a victim, and I will not victimize anyone in the process of my healing journey. Before I met B, I was living on victimhood so strong, it became my personality. It became my personal reality. And I wanted to switch that all up. When I first started reading that agreement, I barely believed it. Month in, I sort of believed it. Couple months in, I believe it. It's a part of my soul. I am not a victim, nor will I ever be victimized by anybody ever again in my life. I will never abandon myself ever again in my life. I am accountable for my own experience here on earth, and I am constantly pursuing my internal evolution. And to be super real, a month after this whole experience is when B offered me the opportunity to get a podcast going, which had been a lifetime dream of mine. Mm-hmm. He offered it right to the table and said, here facts. You go.
So some of y'all don't know, when we started to set up the studio, wild. She goes to this storage unit right 20 feet that way and pulls out all this podcast equipment with spider eggs and webs and dust on it. I've been wanting to do this. And I'm like, all right, well, that was your one day attitude. And thanks to Joshua Smith and that philosophy of keep effing going, we turned it to day one.
Absolutely. It was remarkable, and it just kept working. Boop, 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 boop. And to be real with you, like, I call it God or good or the universe, but basically the universe was saying for a long time, hey, Priscilla, I hope you show up for yourself. Hey, Priscilla, I'm just waiting for you. Like, there's all sorts of things. Like, here's some clues.
Yeah, there's a seat for you on this cool ass pink motorcycle.
Totally. There's everything and anything you ever want and dreamed of. It's right here. Just don't worry. You just got to show up for yourself. You just got to stop running from your truth. You got to let your hair get curly. You got to just be you. It'll work out, I promise. And then I'll give you every last thing that you need to get you to where you need to be. And everything is evolved in the most organically beautiful way. And you could call it God, you could call it good, but it truly is divine currency, divine energy, divine experience. And all you have to do is look in that mirror, like we've been saying, and say, man, I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to show up for you. Hi, Priscilla. I love you so much. I'm going to show up for you.
That's a perfect spot to segue into one of our newer segments, which is our bucket wish list.
Before we head to bucket wish list, just 1 second. If anybody out there has any need to connect with me as an individual based off of the things that you've heard today on a personal level, please reach out. I am an open book of information and experience. And if you need that connection at all, please come my way. We'll look in a mirror together and we'll figure some stuff out. All right.
PieTalkPodcast@gmail.com.
100%.
Pie Talk Podcast Facebook page. If you DM either of us, we'll have access to that page and read those messages, and we're on it. We're on top of it.
We can all show up for ourselves together. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's a good invite. I invite you to show up for yourself. All right, let's head to the buckets.
I just want to catch you a dream or two, bring it to reality from me to you, because they don't understand what belief can do, but I'm the kind of man to make a dream come true.
What's in your bucket list?
All right. I'm going to grab one of these here. And we have, let's see. Drive an actual race car on a racetrack.
Ooh, that's really cool.
I like that.
I do too. I think it actually can happen.
Yeah, that's totally doable.
I'm interested. These are fun. All right. Ooh, these are like the ones I keep getting are super like in depth, which I kind of dig. So it says West Indies tribal tattoo from an artist that's indigenous while visiting. So I know that this one is from somebody personal that might be
that's mine.
Close to me.
Talked about that.
And he talked about it for sure. But
mix this bucket up some.
But I love this idea of like going back to where you come from and finding something beautiful that inspires you and putting it on your body. I have no tattoos. And I'm actually really interested to see within my lifetime if I ever get one. And if I ever do, it'll be because of something like this. It'll be because I'm in a place that means something so valuable to me that it occurs.
Speaking of tattoos, shout out to my daughter, Anancia.
Aww.
Princess Willis. She's getting really good at it. She just sent me a picture of a rose she did with her son's name.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's getting really good. Her lines are getting better. And she's pursuing her internal evolution with her artistry and her ability to tattoo. So, real quick, we're going to jump right into the 4 agreement cards, and then we're going to reveal who said that.
Perfect.
Always do your best. Honor yourself. Don Miguel Ruiz, you are! Right? Honor the man or woman that you are. Take the risk to express your dream. Taking action is about living fully and expressing what you are.
I love that. Be impeccable with your word. Manifest your true intentions. Regardless of what language you speak, your intent will manifest through the word. What you dream, what you feel, and what you really are will all be manifested through the word. Make some agreements.
Don't take anything personally. Everyone lives in their own dream. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world from the one we live in. Don't take anything personally. We're doing it twice because I just seen hers.
I know. I actually love this because it wraps right into what I shared today. Don't take anything personally. Your truth is personal to you.
Ooh.
Your own opinions and point of view reflect your own agreements and are personal to you. It is no one's truth but yours.
Man. All right.
Who said that?
Tell us who said that.
Good old Friedrich Nietzsche. So, Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche was born in Germany in 1844. And he was a German philosopher. He began his career as a classical philologist before turning to philosophy. He became the youngest person to hold a chair of classical philology at the University of Basel in 1869 at the age of 24, and resigned in 1879 due to health problems that plagued him most of his life. He completed much of his core writing in the following decade. It says that in 1889, at age 44, he suffered a collapse and afterwards a complete loss of his mental faculties with paralysis and probably vesicular dementia. So a lot of people actually know him as being a very dark philosopher. Some of the things that he says were just a little bit interesting in terms of the way that other people were speaking about the world, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have immense value in the stuff that he's saying. And it's about your perception of what he's saying that matters. So it is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. That which does not kill us makes us stronger.
Yeah.
I'm not upset that you lied to me. I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. He's got some cool ones. You guys should check him out. There's also some things that I thought were fun, like whoever fights monsters should see it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. So I'll end on that. I'm grateful for all the chaos in my life because right now I'm a dancing star. Nice. It works out. The next portion of our day today is just a philanthropy shout out. And so I'm going to bring up something that I went and investigated a little bit, but it's just a quick blip. So this weekend we did a really cool project with Pursue It If You Want It. It felt really good to actively participate in philanthropy, to be a volunteer. So there is a webpage out there called volunteer.olympiawa.gov for those people that are local. But of course, you could also look into your local government structures. There's going to be a similar thing for a volunteer unit. And it just basically says, working together to make a difference here at Volunteer Olympia. And there's all different opportunities that you can go into, and you can join a list of different volunteer opportunities that are local and near to you. So like there was a Squaxin Park volunteer work party where they were cleaning up the Squaxin Park. There was
nice.
Totally the Madison Science Park volunteer work party. There's all different kinds of events that come up, and then you can find these events, get your friends and families together and start to put your hand into a little philanthropy yourself. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the USD. It can just be your currency that you are then gifting into the community to make things better. I will say, I have I called her like a fairy godmother, or a really wonderful person that was like another mother to me, a surrogate mother, and her husband, they taught me the core of volunteer work. And so one of the experiences just lives in my mind is there's something called Healthy Kids Day. And it was at the YMCA Healthy Kids Day.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I was a kid who was volunteering at the kids Healthy Kids Day. So instead of being the kid that was participating, I was the person that was volunteering at the event. And I have to tell you, those sorts of experiences pivot the little philanthropy mindset in your tiny humans. And then you then get to grow and develop some awesome community helpers, in addition to also growing yourself and bringing the pursuit of internal evolution to everybody and anything around you. So 10 out of 10 recommend finding a volunteer project near you and finding the resources that you have to connect with others and to make sure that you show your currency in the best way that you can. If there are any volunteer opportunities that need help or more exposure, please send them our way. And we will also do shout outs on our podcast whenever we can to get more people into that pursuit of internal evolution.
Yes. Lastly, at least as far as philanthropy goes, last year, Peer Olympia won the Best Nonprofit Award in the South Puget
100%.
Sound. But also, I want to give a shout out because Peer Olympia's front desk is 100% staffed by volunteers and interns.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they all
Thank
hold
you.
themselves in the most professional manner. It is incredible to see their intentions. They come every day with pie. They really, really are wonderfully present and soulful people. I appreciate all of them.
So, get you some living water.
Yeah.
Follow us on Pie Talk Podcast, Facebook page, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but especially subscribe to our YouTube. If you enjoy our content, please share with somebody who you believe could use what it is that we're perpetuating. Share your enjoyment with others. It will help us.
Yeah.
You know, sharing and liking. It's free, but the currency really helps us promote and perpetuate what we're trying to do is just give tools so that you can be a better version of yourself, so that you can build a foundation, so that you can create your own blueprint, agreements to becoming your best self, so that you can cast the perfect spell, so that every mirror you look into becomes that magic mirror.
Absolutely. And on this end note, something that we have in the agreements that we read, the final line, which is the most powerful line of all, is we are what we agree to. So make sure that you're okay with what you agree to about yourself, okay?
Yeah, write your own narrative.
Yeah.
Be the best version of yourself. You can do it.
Absolutely.
Get you some living water. Look it up. And man, it's been an honor. This brings so much joy to my life.
Mm-hmm.
Catch y'all next time.
Take it easy.